We're so happy that Ron Jaworski could carve out some time for us. I know there's a crazy busy time for all the football guys up in Bristol, but he's nice enough to give us that time. Ron, welcome to the Michael K. Show. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I always find time for you guys. It's
Yes,
always
you do.
fun to be with you, especially around draft time.
Thank you. We were really intrigued by your comments regarding Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I know you spoke about this on SportsCenter. So for our listeners that might not have seen that, Ron, what did you think of the year that Fitzpatrick had last year?
I said it was a mirage, and again, I will go back to why I came up with that analysis. In preparation for my quarterback big board, which will come out another month or so, where I rate all the quarterbacks of each starter on each team 1 through 32. At my office at NFL Films, I go through every throw that every quarterback has made this past season. And I've already completed Ryan Fitzpatrick's analysis, so I thought the team played very well. I thought they should have been a playoff team. And I thought that Ryan actually held them back. And, you know, I love the moxie of Ryan Fitzpatrick. In that regard, he's one of my favorite players in the league. But when you look after all the throws he made throughout the season, and I think the most startling thing that jumped out at me was he had 30 balls that should have been intercepted. I know we look at the stats and say he only had 15 picks. There were 30 interceptable passes when you look at the tape. And that was troubling to me. Only Carson Palmer, I've tracked, had more than him at 31. So to me, there was a certain area of his game that has to improve, and that held back the Jets from being a playoff team.
Now, here's the analogy that I threw out, Jaws, is that whether I pay $1 or $10 for the poison, I'm still getting poisoned. So the Jets must disagree somewhat with you if they did indeed offer him $7 to $8 million, right? Because the way you described it, the Jets shouldn't even bother to bring him back at all.
Well, I didn't say that. I think he's a serviceable quarterback. I think you can stay with Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, this is the 6th NFL team he's been with. So obviously, you know, there's some troubling parts of his game for teams around this league to be on now 6 teams in his career. But unless you have that guy, you've got to run someone out there to play the position. You know, you guys know I've always liked Geno, but he has never gotten to the point where he's a consistent NFL quarterback. Until the Jets can find that guy to replace Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, he will be the guy. And you look at, I mean, look, you just mentioned, you know, the contract offer, $7 million. I mean, you know, there are backups around this league getting that kind of money. Look at the money the Eagles just invested in Chase Daniels, who's done nothing in his NFL career. They gave Sam Bradford a guaranteed $22 million, 18 this year, and he wants to be traded. So it's a bizarre league for quarterbacks right now.
Now, it's funny, Ron, because I look at this, and everybody seems to think the Jets will ultimately blink, and I don't think they will, because I think that they would rather go with Geno Smith than pay Ryan Fitzpatrick $14 million. You have, as you just said, have always liked Geno. Do you think that Geno could do what Ryan did last year?
I think he probably could, and I say that probably. You know, I wish he would have gotten more opportunity last year to see what he could do. I've always believed in the physical talent of Geno Smith. But clearly the consistency has not been there. And that's the difference, really, when you look at NFL quarterbacks, and you know that's where a lot of my focus is. You know, these guys can all make the throws. They have good enough arms, especially in today's NFL, where it seems like about 1 out of every 2 passes is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, where they're devaluing arm strength. I do not, but a lot of teams seem to do that. But it's been the consistency of Geno Smith that's always been troubling to me. I see the talent, but not on a consistent basis.
Now, the other alternative is, putting Bryce Petty aside for a second, drafting a quarterback. But when I have Revis at 30, I've got Marshall at 32. I just signed a running back who's 31 years old. Can I win with one of these rookies? Can I draft a quarterback and then hand him the reins to a team that I think has to win now?
No. And I don't care if you got Jared Goff or Carson Wentz or Paxton Lynch. Those are guys that I like in this draft. none of these guys are ready to play in the NFL. None of them. We always ask the question up at ESPN, who's most NFL ready? None. Zero. None of these guys are ready. The transition from college football to the NFL is so big, these guys just can't handle it. And I always use this analogy. In college football, you practice 20 hours a week, and that includes 3 hours on game day. You have 17 hours a week to practice football. You get to the NFL, you're practicing almost 17 hours a day. You better be good at your trade. So guys sometimes can't handle, all it takes to be an NFL quarterback. So none of these guys are ready to especially with a good team like the Jets. And the Jets last year were a very good football team. If they had received better quarterback play, and I'm just being honest with you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, they were a playoff team.
Talking with Ron Jaworski here on the Michael K. Show. I'm curious, and I kind of fall on a different side than Don about this. I can't believe that Sam Bradford has the onions to ask for a trade when he took the money. And, I mean, does it have to be perfect for him to stay there? Is there going to be a market for him at $18 million a year, Ron?
Well, for the quarterback position, there always seems to be a market, and I would agree. I've been an advocate of Sam Bradford's game. I thought he played well last season in Chip Kelly's offense in Philadelphia. I just have a difficult time when a guy just signed a contract, albeit maybe a 2-year deal, and it was pretty obvious that it was a 1-year deal because it was front-end loaded with $18 million guaranteed this year and $4 million next year. After you sign that contract, a month later to say, I don't like what the Eagles are doing. They're going to draft a quarterback at number 2. I don't know if this is old school, new school, millennium, Generation Z, or whatnot, guys. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand that, but I've always understood this. It's about competition. And coaches and organizations need to create competition to bring the best out in every single player. And apparently, Sam Bradford didn't want the competition or didn't want to stand up to the competition and kind of took the easy way out and said, trade me to a team that's not going to have, a number 2 draft choice in this draft that I'm going to have to compete with. I just don't understand it.